Dynamite!
It's Dynamite!
Wednesday night, Dynamite!
So Dynamite!
This is awesome! This is this, this is that, this is this! Hey everybody, have a great time!
I'm not one of these f***ing goof podcasters out there. I am Don Tony, Wednesday night, Dynamite! Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Wednesday night, November 25th, 2020. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody who celebrates. Much love as always. I thank you very much for the support. I am Don Tony. This is your abbreviated edition of Wednesday Night Dynamite. No, that doesn't mean a 3-hour show is only going to be 2 hours. Tonight, we have 3 topics to talk about. I'm going to pay a little tribute, very brief, and give a little bit of an apology to someone who passed away today. Also, I will give you your AEW and NXT recaps from tonight. I tell you, obviously Thanksgiving is tomorrow. That doesn't mean that everybody was out tonight celebrating. You see what's going on with COVID and all these states that are, shutting indoor this and shutting outdoor dining and, having roadblocks for this and, trying to do everything possible to ruin your Thanksgiving. Individual responsibility. Something that I have been saying since February. I have a little bit of an opening message. I don't have it written down. This is coming straight from here. And I have a feeling about 99% of you out there will agree with me on this. Now, for those that only tune in once in a blue moon that aren't aware, I am going to be going away early tomorrow morning. I'm going away for 5 days. I'm going to Connecticut. And the reason more than anything as far as why I'm going is because 1 year ago this weekend, I proposed. My fiance said yes, and I know you're here for recaps. You don't want personal stuff, but I think you'll agree with me as far as what I'm about to say. 1 year ago this weekend, I proposed. She said yes. I appreciate all the love and thank you and the congratulatories you have sent me all year long. But for the last 12 months, in so many different ways, financially, emotionally, relationships, jobs, shows, wrestling, TV, everything's been affected, and mostly in a negative way. I was supposed to have my parents meet her parents for the first time early this year. They've never met, both sides. We were supposed to have a little engagement dinner with our immediate family. That didn't happen. We were already supposed to plan a date. We were going to all party in Orlando. Do you remember? Mish, myself, we were all planning. Originally, I was going to propose in Orlando for WrestleMania weekend, but things got a little bit disarray. Some people who say they're going to show don't show, so I decided I'm going to do it in Connecticut last year, and then we'll celebrate in Orlando WrestleMania weekend. Well, here's what it comes down to, all of us. And I swear to you, this is not a shot at The Undertaker. We all appreciate his career, loved his career. This is not throwing shade against The Undertaker. And I'm not going to name any individual wrestlers themselves. Let's use the term celebrities instead. Isn't it funny that celebrities can go out on a Saturday night, the Saturday night before Thanksgiving. All these celebrities can hang out on a Sunday evening. They could hug, they could break bread, they could tell stories, they could go out for drinks, they could sit in a catering room, they could do all this stuff. They could go to a distant island for somebody's 40th birthday, and yet the week before Thanksgiving, they're giving you public service announcements, messages all over the TV, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Don't stay with your family. Don't get together. Do you hear those slaps? Am I on a different planet? Well, you know, it's The Undertaker's retirement, and it's a very special occasion. Motherfuckers, my mother, I don't know if she's going to last another year. My father currently has pneumonia, and I'm supposed to not spend my time with my family this week because, we're in the middle of COVID. But with a clear head, you get all together. But it's The Undertaker. It's a special occasion. Well, so is fucking Thanksgiving. So do me a favor. All these celebrities, all these blue check marks, all these politicians that tell you, you can't do this, you can't do this. Seriously, fuck them. Be careful. You don't get in people's faces. You know, if you're like me, a lot of Italians, when they talk, like spit likes to fly out and everything. You know, okay, if that happens, well, you know what? Then I'll sit on the opposite side of the table. I spent yesterday night with my family. I was at their house overnight, you know, just trying to help little things here. I spent my Thanksgiving yesterday. Why? Because it's not Thursday, it's okay? So seriously, everyone, take your responsibility. Wear masks wherever possible. If you can't stay within 6 feet. If you're with family in the house, keep your distance a little bit. You could be in the same room. If somebody doesn't feel well, you know, then maybe they shouldn't go, obviously. But to see wrestlers actually have, and I know some of them really have good intentions, but seriously, it's The Undertaker. It's a special occasion. That's why I had to go. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. Fuck you. Fuck you. The Undertaker, oh no, that's okay. COVID can go aside, but I can't go and try to recreate proposing because 1 year, I've been working all year long. I worked 3 jobs. I know a lot of you out there had to do alternate jobs because your regular jobs weren't available. Everybody did what they had to do. So guess what? Tomorrow morning early, I am getting on the road. And I'm going to spend 5 days with my fiance. I will wear a mask. I will keep distance with people as much as possible. I'm not going to talk in people's faces like this. And guess what? Since February, how many times have I been sick? So seriously, everyone, enjoy your Thanksgiving. If your family is concerned and they don't want to have a get-together, respect that. I'm not telling you to be rebels. We all got to do our share and our responsibility. But I see all of these famous people having pictures and get-togethers and going out to dinner, politicians, this, that. And then because it's a Thursday, it's Thanksgiving, you're not allowed to do any of that stuff, but they could do it 2 days before, 4 days before, a week before. Just do your own thing. Be careful. You live in a free country for those in the United States. In most countries, you live in a free country anyway. Individual responsibility. I don't want to get my parents sick. So I'm not going to go right in their face and talk and run the chance. So seriously, everyone enjoy your Thanksgiving. Much love. Now, as I have been saying for the last 3 weeks, I will not be here Friday to do the Don Tony show. I was supposed to do the Q&A early this week, but there was so many Survivor Series questions and Undertaker and this and that. I decided, you know what? I'm going to go enjoy my vacation. Coming back Sunday evening and Sunday night, I promise you before I go to bed, I will do the Q&A. I'll answer everybody's questions. It'll be posted online for everyone, and we'll have a great show. So I'm sorry for this impromptu rant, but you know what? I thought it was necessary because, you know, and some of the people that I saw posting these videos, I love them. I absolutely love some of these people. And I see them saying, look, you know, for one more holiday, you know, until we get the vaccine, you know, don't spend it with your family. Do a Zoom Thanksgiving. Fuck you. I'm grabbing my nuts. I just can't do that on video. You know, if they've been in their house and they've been doing what they're saying, that's different. You have nerve 4 days ago. Oh, well, it was this. And we got together for this. And no, it's for entertainment. Oh, I didn't know COVID. Oh, but we got tested before we were on TV. Well, guess what? My father got tested. I got tested. My fiance got tested. Everybody in my family got tested because we wanted to make sure nobody was sick. Don't fucking tell the world you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, and you do it yourself? People are nuts. Seriously, man. Anyway, before we get into the recaps, and yeah, Don Tony is going to issue a little bit of an apology tonight. Want to give a couple of quick shout outs. A couple of super chats came in. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, wait, is it? Oh, no. Close this. Oh, no. All right, that's gone. Was it playing the intro music? I don't have my speaker on right now. The last thing I want to do is hear myself yelling at the top of my lungs. But Puffy89, thank you very much, my friend. Yeah, I'm going to have a great time. Going to be careful. You know, I got tested. I'm clear. So is she. We're going to make sure we keep our distance from everyone. And, you know, I originally was going to recreate the night that I proposed, but it was so much stuff that I lugged there that I just decided, you know what, we're going to go back, get the same room we had before, and we'll have a nice, quiet weekend, and at the same time, recharge batteries and everything, and hopefully we get the vaccine, you know, within the next couple of weeks, and then next year we could pick up where we left off 1 year ago. But thank you very much, my friend. I really do appreciate that. Crazy Cruiserweight. Last year, the day before Thanksgiving, when NXT beat AEW in the ratings, then the excuse was that AEW's demographic was out drinking at bars. If NXT wins again, then what will AEW's excuse be? I'll be honest with you. I think AEW will win in the ratings this week. Not for nothing. I will tell you, I honestly thought NXT was a little bit of a better show today. You know, AEW was taped. And yes, spoilers came out a week ago. And it ended up that person who Tony Khan has said to you before, don't believe everything you read. Well, Tony Khan was right. You don't believe every little thing you read, because if you actually look at the spoilers, you know, there's a couple little details that were kind of off slightly, but the match results were on point. You know, when Moxley attacked Kenny Omega, you know, the person who posted the spoilers said he attacked him in the ring. You know, Moxley actually attacked him, you know, during his intro when you see just the silhouette of Kenny Omega. And then it led to the ring. So that's really the only differences. So I saw the spoilers a week ago. To me, it looked like a decent show, but nothing really earth-shattering. It's going to be very interesting to see the rating for the main event for AEW tonight because, you know, Pac obviously very, very popular amongst us all. Butcher and the Blade, you know, I don't know really if they're main event caliber. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think the match was strong enough that it would maintain the viewers. Kyle O'Reilly and Pete Dunne's ladder match was excellent as well. By the way, before anybody says anything, who was the masked person that attacked Kyle O'Reilly? They're going to show next week. It's got to be Pat McAfee. And the reason why I say that is if you look at the body again, do I think that was Pat McAfee under the mask? No, I don't. But if you look at the physique, especially the skinny legs, Pat McAfee, I have nothing against him now. You all convinced me to give him a chance. And when he had the match with Adam Cole, I said, okay, all right. I could accept him, and I think he's doing a damn good job in his role. But if you remember, he was at a WrestleMania, I think last year or the year before, and he had those shorts on, and his calves were smaller than this, you know. So whoever it was, obviously WWE said, whose physique looks like Pat McAfee? All right, do me a favor. Put the mask on. And just go out there and cause Kyle O'Reilly the match. What's going to happen is next week we'll probably have NXT open up with McAfee's team in the ring with the masked person. Pull the mask off and it'll reveal it's Pat McAfee, and they'll try to make us believe that McAfee was actually there tonight. If McAfee was really there tonight, and first of all, why would you need the mask? You know, but second of all, you would reveal it that night. So Pat McAfee did, you know, like a pre-recorded segment earlier in the night, and the whole thing was that he was not there. I don't think he was there. So they just given you the suspension of disbelief that it was McAfee under the mask. But since they didn't reveal it tonight, even if they reveal it like on social media, like after the event is over, exclusive footage, and somebody pulls out, that could have been a pre-recorded segment too. So I think that's what it is. But I'll be honest with you, even though I enjoyed NXT more tonight, I think overall, the caliber of people in the ring, I don't think was strong enough to maintain the ratings. You know, that's just how I feel. I mean, we'll know the ratings tomorrow. Well, actually, we probably won't know until Friday because of, and I tell you, that actually works out well, because if we don't know the rating until Friday, then that means that we won't have. Let me take. Okay, there we go. Yeah, if what the hell happened over here? No, I try to do that little thing now that if Super Chat comes in, I change the whole screen, do like a little, and then switch it back. So I got to get used to that a little bit. But, you know, the fact that I'm not doing the show Friday, if the rating comes out Friday, we won't know the quarter-hour breakdowns probably until Monday. So we'll save it for Monday's show next week or Wednesday Night Dynamite. But, So, let's see. I want to give a special shout out. I shouted him out yesterday on Patreon, and you know, I did read your update earlier. I know some people out there were actually wondering, you know, what happened with Brian Thompson. Good friend of the family. He's in the chat a lot as well. I know some of you interact with him. You know, he's battling some severe blood clots. And I don't want to say this to get him all rattled, but I know 2 people over the years who passed away because of a blood clot. Hell, wasn't that kind of like led to Chris Candido's passing? You know, technically, if you want to call it, I wouldn't say it an aneurysm, but didn't they warn him, don't fly? You know, and he had the blood clot, and oh man, but just keep taking the thinners, what we talked about privately. But yeah, it's scary, but you got to be strong, man. You got to be strong. You know, getting sick to your stomach, and this is why I tell everybody, you know, no matter what is going on in your life, getting sick to your stomach is not going to make it magically disappear. If anything, it's going to knock your immune system down even more. How many of you out there have ever heard, because of nerves, because of stress, you gain weight, your blood pressure goes high, you have this happen and this happen? You know, sometimes when things happen to me, like I just try to be cool as a cucumber. Inside I'm rattled, but I try to act as much as cool as a cucumber, because I realize no matter how sick I get over it, no matter how angry, no matter how much I pray, you know, it ain't going to do nothing. So you got to just battle it head on and, you know, fight the good fight. You'll overcome. You will definitely overcome. It's a battle. It's a battle. But, you know, what does not kill you, make you stronger. That's a phrase that I know a lot of people use. So, you know, much love to you, my friend, and stay strong. Without a doubt, stay strong. Let's shoot over. Let's shoot over. There we go. There we go. All right. Like I said, it's something to get used to over here, having to switch it back and forth. Just a little thing I was playing around. So, I opened up tonight showing you this. Now, I know some of you out there, if you follow me for 20 years, when you saw me post that and saw me write, you know, rest in peace, you probably said, DT, what are you, out of your fucking mind? Rest in peace, Bob Ryder. For anybody that does not know, you know, I go back doing this since 1997. And when I started actually podcasting in 03 or 04, you know, I had a lot of issues with Bob Ryder. It's mostly when he was OneWrestling.com. Then he went to PWInsider.com. And then, you know, he was part of the creation of TNA. But the one thing back in 02, 03 that I had a problem more than anything was, and a lot of times I thought that I was justified. You know, USA Pro Wrestling, Frank Goodman, who I worked for at the time, you know, we would have some kick-ass blockbuster shows for indie level, you know, and, you know, we would send press releases to all the websites, and, you know, Bob Ryder would bury it on page 20. or Bob Ryder would post it, and then immediately after post like MLW and all this other stuff, and just like totally bury it. Sometimes he wouldn't even post the press releases. We would send it 2, 3, 4 times, and then you realized that was why I said back in the day that Mike Johnson would always get a hand job under the table from Court Bauer, because they would get preferential treatment. And, you know, it was a little bit frustrating that a news wrestling website would play so much favoritism. You know, I know a lot of you these days feel that way about Meltzer, but as I always say, if you don't like Meltzer, you don't pay attention to him. But the thing was, let's be honest, OneWrestling.com, PWInsider.com had a big following, and I was always at odds with Bob Ryder. Then, you know, having the constructive criticism about NWA TNA, not all the time, but sometimes, you know, Bob Ryder, you know, was a big part of it. He's the founding father of TNA. A lot of people don't know the story about Bob Ryder and his idea to create TNA back in 2002, you know. So thing is that if you notice over the last couple of years, I usually don't mention his name anymore, because as the years go by, you know, people that I have become friendly with in the world of wrestling, especially in the indie wrestling level, you know, people who have followed me for so many years would say to me, like, what's your problem with Bob Ryder? Like, why are you so, like, you know, against him? And I would say a brief synopsis of it. You know, I put people to sleep if I told the whole thing. But they're like, he's one of the nicest people around, one of the most kindest people, and this and that. And yes, it's business, this and that. But so many people that I talk to, you know, would go out of their way to say nice things about Bob Ryder. And that's why when I did the history show a couple of years ago, I made certain to say, look, I know that I have said some really crappy things about him, you know, 20 years ago, but, you know, let's be honest, the guy has done tons, not only for TNA. Go watch the clip that's floating around of Eric Bischoff and Conrad talking about how it was Bob Ryder who really pushed to get the Young Bucks in TNA back then when they were Generation Me. I mean, so I have laid off on him for quite some time now. But for those that don't know, he has been battling cancer. I'm not going to speculate what kind of cancer he had, but he was going through a lot of chemo. And, you know, the story is that he fell yesterday, and Impact and a few other family members tried to get in touch with him with no success. Somebody contacted the police to do a welfare check, and they found him deceased, 64 years old. So, you know, it kind of hit home to me because my grandmother, who you all know, if anybody follows me for a long time, my grandmother was the one that got me into wrestling when I was a kid. And when my grandmother died in 1991, you know, I still remember that day clearly. I remember what I was doing, where I was, you know, everything. But the one thing that really, really stuck out to me was that when my father found my grandmother deceased, you know, like, I never wanted to hear the details. But, you know, over a 30-year period, for the most part, you overhear little things over the years. And, you know, about 10 years, 15 years ago, I learned that my grandmother, you know, when they believe what had happened was she caught a heart attack, and she desperately tried to get the phone. And she, as a result, fell, and the fall did not kill her, but the fall was as a result of her having a heart attack and desperately trying to grab the phone. So, you know, that kind of struck home to me today because, you know, when they said that Bob Ryder fell, you know, we don't know if the fall was part of what transpired. And it just gave me memories of my grandmother. So, you know, the guy did a lot, and I'll tell you this much. It was nice to see so many people in wrestling paying tribute to the guy today. You know, the people out, a lot of regular people out there probably never really, you know, commingled with him all that much or even interacted because, you know, his latter years with TNA or Impact Wrestling, you know, he really wasn't a journalist online anymore. He did a lot of the stuff behind the scenes, the travel, everything else. So, you know, I know it's too late. You know, I never ever thought that I would, have to say it publicly, but I think it's only the right thing to say. And yes, although it's too late, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Some of the things that I said about that guy and cracking jokes about him back in the day, I thought a lot of it was justified because of the way, our promotion, USA Pro was treated, UXW, and some other things. There's a lot of little things in the middle. But I also admit that a lot of the stuff that I said was just me being a jackass, me trying to get laughs. Now I talk about these days now how people will just do stupid one-liners and crack insults on people, and they're just doing it for Twitter likes. And you see it every day. We didn't have Twitter and Facebook 20 years ago, 18 years ago. So in a way, that might have been me doing the very same thing. But since it wasn't likes, it was LOLs, on the show. So looking back on it, I can't change what I have said and done in the past, but I sure can change going forward. And that's what I try to do every day. So even though it's late, Bob Ryder, rest in peace. And I'm truly sorry for some of the things that I said back in the day. So anyway, let's move on, because like I said, tonight's show is going to be a quick one. Rapido, because I still got to pack. I got to get up at 6 tomorrow. I got to take a shower. I have a couple of customers that I have to email things to insurance companies so they have it in-house by Friday morning. And I'm on the road tomorrow by 7 a.m., so I definitely cannot screw that up. I got to recreate the magic moment from a year ago. I got to recreate it. Can't screw this up, everybody. By the way, did you all see this cute little Thanksgiving portrait that AEW is floating around? Oh, you got to love that. You got to love how they don't want wrestling fans to mock about Cody and Brandy like being the powerhouse couple of AEW, that it's a whole family and this and that. Well, you don't help it all that much when Cody and Brandy are putting out the turkey and everybody else is sitting there like, hey, yeah, we're at the dinner table, yeah. I don't know. It is what it is, everybody. They tried to turn. You see how they went personal tonight a little bit with Cody and Taz? Taz's son training with Cody. Taz putting on the Taz mission, which was nice to see. Look, I have been saying it way before Taz joined AEW. You remember the first couple of episodes, about 4 or 5 weeks into AEW, I said repeatedly, I like Shivani, I like JR, I like Excalibur. The one problem with that, you don't have a wise ass on commentary. You don't have a constructive catalyst. You don't have someone being like the technically a heel. When every match, all three commentators, this is great. Oh boy, what a night tonight. This is great. Oh yeah, Tony. Oh yeah, this is great. Excalibur, what a great night this was tonight. What a great night. And they needed a wise ass. They brought in Taz for a couple of shots, mostly AEW Dark, and it just fit. It fit like a glove. So I have enjoyed Taz, his AEW tenure, whether it's a manager, commentator, whatever. I have enjoyed it all. And we see the storyline now go in a little different direction. No, Taz versus Sabu are not dreams that are made of in 2020. Let's be honest. I mean, we could go back and relive 1997. If you want to go back further, you could relive 1995, 1996, when Sabu no-showed ECW. Well, actually, no, that was 95, earlier in the year. He no-showed ECW, I think, to work Japan, and then he was technically fired. He had that brief stint in WCW, and to this day, people wonder if he got fired because of the fireball and everything like that. Wasn't Sabu's first match in WCW against Mr. JL, Jerry Lynn, or was it Alex Wright? I don't remember. But so anyway, let's talk about both shows tonight. Again, AEW is pre-taped. A lot of you saw the spoilers. So a lot of what I'm about to say is going to pretty much reiterate what you have read already. Opening match was Hangman Page versus John Silver. Hangman Page with the win with the buckshot lariat. I tell you, John Silver, maybe you kind of wish he was a couple of inches taller. John Silver is entertaining as hell online. John Silver has a really, how do I say it, like a cult following online. A lot of people think that John Silver is one of the most entertaining people of the Dark Order. You know, where's Brody Lee? Just saying. But they use a lot of comedy with John Silver in the matches. And they did it tonight with Hangman Page. Wanted to do a test of strength. Him slapping Hangman Page's ass. He didn't want to do the flex off. Look, they had a great match. You know, John Silver, I think ultimately will probably break out of the Dark Order. It's interesting. Yes, Wombology. He has some pythons on him, you know. Well, you think he's more believable than Daniel Bryan. I mean, Bryan Danielson, you know, has had a Hall of Fame career. I mean, I wouldn't put it on the same level. John Silver is very talented. And you know what? When we talk about underrated wrestlers, as far as what we watch on TV, I think John Silver could probably fall in that category. I don't know how you all feel about it, but I certainly do. I think John Silver definitely could fall in that category. But, you know, they had a competitive match. Hangman Page, like I said, gets the buckshot lariat for the win. After the match is over, Dark Order comes out. And, you know, Evil Uno compared the Elite to the Dark Order, you know, and he wanted to offer Hangman Page a spot, you know, so, you know, we'll see where it goes. But if you remember last week, I made that quick idea that Hangman Page might have been the one to attack Jon Moxley. One thing I said last week, please, please, please do not let it be Kenny Omega. Not because I'm a fan of Kenny Omega, not because they're having a match next week, but because that would go over worse than the Who Attacked Matt Hardy stuff. You know, when you do Who Attacked, you know, I mean, look at even Who Shot Johnny Bravo stuff. I mean, yeah, it's corny and everything, but people honestly have no idea in the storyline who shot Johnny Bravo. To be honest with you, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if we end up with a corny finish that Johnny Bravo shot himself. You know, I mean, I'm not saying that's what it's going to be, but my point is, you know, when you do a Who Attacked Matt Hardy thing, and the Sammy Guevara feud seems to be dwindling down, just to have it be like, oh, it was me, Matt, and it's Sammy Guevara, like, how uneventful is that? The idea of a who attacked, who shot, whoever it is, you're supposed to have the unexpected, somebody you don't expect. You don't have two people feud, and then all of a sudden, oh, who attacked, and then it's the same person that they've been feuded. How uneventful and uncreative is that? So for me, whoever attacked Jon Moxley, I'd like it for it to be Hangman Page. Just because he's bitter as far as what happened and everything else, or maybe he thinks he's trying to help his former tag partner. It's something different. I just don't want Kenny Omega next week to cut a promo saying, who attacked you, John? It was me, John. Oh, how, like, boring and bland. So anyway, Will Hobbs, he's now known as Powerhouse Hobbs. AEW did right tonight. Had him win a squash match. They made that mistake with Miro's first match. They made the mistake with others in the past. You have someone like him, and you want to showcase him as being a monster. You can't let his opponent gasp for air. You got to be all over that son of a bitch. The only thing about Will Hobbs that makes me laugh, now all of a sudden he's got that look on his face that he's constipated, that he hates everything, hates the world. He's like this. You know what that looks like? When I was a kid, and I'd be like, Hey, Ma, what's for dinner? Anybody remember Bismarcky? Hey, Ma, what's for dinner? Go up your nose and pick a winner. Picking boogers. No, but when I was a kid, once in a while, Ma, what's for dinner tonight? Veal cutlets? No. Chicken cutlets? No. Hot dogs? No. Pizza? No. What are we having? Calf's liver. You know, you pull your significant other's pants down, you realize they didn't take a shower. You see that look on his face, and his head is tilted. He's like this. So, Will Hobbs, lose the constipated look. Seriously. I like the idea. Said it a couple of weeks ago. By the way, I know we're jumping back and forth, but do you remember the match with Shotzi Blackheart and Tony Storm, and then the whole thing about the tank? And I said, you know, there's something about Tony Storm that doesn't feel right with this. Remember on Wednesday Night Dynamite I said that? Did I think she was going to turn heel tonight? No. But something just didn't feel right a couple of weeks ago. And tonight we had Tony Storm now batting for Indy Hartwell. Tony Storm. Why do I say that? I'll tell you later. Oh, yeah, I'll say this about Indy Hartwell right now. Since we just talked about Will Hobbs, you know, Indy Hartwell is funny. You remember that movie Jim Carrey with the mask? Jim Carrey without the mask would be just like a regular person. And then he puts the mask on, he'd be like, smoking. Indy Hartwell, when she's got the Scream outfit on, she's energetic, she's attacking people, she's this, she's that, she's moving around, she's doing all this stuff. Go back and watch her in the corner of Candace LeRae tonight. I don't know if it was a tribute to The Undertaker. No facial reactions whatsoever. She gets knocked off the ramp, she's like this. She goes around the ring. She walks around the ring like this. She's in the back of the car sitting next to someone else who has the Scream outfit on. She's like this. Now, I'm over-exaggerating. She looks like someone that's, you know, in the hospital on vegetable support. Go back and watch her today. No, you get knocked off the ring, you get cheap shotted. I'd be like, motherfucker, what are you? I'd be like, let me at him. Let me at him. She's like this. Audio only people hate when I do that. They're like, what's he doing? What's he doing? All I hear is dead air. Sorry. Am I lying? Nothing against Indy Hartwell. I think she's a talent on the rise. Go back and watch that. You want more stupidity tonight? Anna Jay versus Hikaru Shida. Was the match good? It was fine. I didn't have any problem with the match, except for one point. You have one point in the match where Anna Jay tries to get a chair from Ty Conti to use in the match. And the referee's like, no chair, no. And he pulls the chair away from Anna Jay. And Anna Jay's like, remember Matt Riddle with MVP the other day? Aw, you know, no chair. Aw. She didn't do that, but now I'm on that kick. My girl said tonight, I said, honey, are you going to bring that negligee you wore last year? No, I don't. Aw. Seriously, you got to do that. You got to call, you know, can I have off Friday? No. Aw. You know, did UPS deliver my package today? No, it's going to be delivered Monday. Aw. You got to do that. I'm telling you, you got to do it everywhere now. Like when I started the word matarats, people started using that outside, even though, you know, it doesn't really mean, you know, I gave it a definition. But some of you out there have told me stories that you get into arguments with strangers and you call them that. And they have no idea what you call them. Like, what did you just call me? Why don't you watch where you're driving, you stupid matarats? What did you just call me? Say that again to my face. They don't even know what you're talking about. So, anyway. So, Anna Jay tries to use the chair. The referee says, no, we're not having any. And for some reason, the referee starts arguing with Ty Conti. Whatever. So, what happens? I think John Silver gives Anna Jay a Singapore cane. And Daly's place Who's the governor? DeSantis, Daley's place, DeSantis's house, North Carolina. Everybody, they heard this. You heard this loud smack of the Singapore cane into Shida's leg. The referee is 6 feet away. He don't hear that? It was so goofy. Pulls the chair away, arguing with Ty Conti, and he just does it. And he turns around. Stupid, man. Little things like that just irk me. But anyway. After Will Hobbs' match is over, Taz comes out, and he tells, Taz was doing a little commentary. Then he comes out to the ring, tells Will Hobbs, go celebrate. And then he's talking about the FTR title, and he's, about the prestige and this and that. And Cody, who has like the producer's equipment on, he's like, are you done yet? And they get a little bit of a back and forth. And, basically Taz says, you made a real big mistake. What happened was they were having this back and forth to try to make it interesting because Cody is going to be working, obviously, a storyline with them. And, basically Cody says to Taz, why is your son training with me? And, Taz, a lot of bullshit that was not, and I'm not saying bullshit is content, I'm saying the word. Taz said bullshit a few times, didn't get censored out. And, Taz tells him that he drew the line. And Taz makes it look like he's walking away. Cody doesn't look, and Taz locks the Taz mission on. And then we get the whole Nightmare Academy along with Who Dat. I know he's a part of the Academy, but, Who Dat comes out. They all make the save. It was okay. It was all right. Later on in the night, you had Ricky Starks and Brian Cage talking, and Will Hobbs by his side just doing this. And they said, Taz was not with them, and they said that Cody made it personal. So, this is not leading to Cody versus Taz, if anybody actually thinks that. No. It's going to lead to something. And now I'm wondering if Taz's son is going to be brought into this storyline. I don't know. But it wasn't bad. I thought they both did fine tonight. As far as me doing commentary, could I imitate old school Taz? Is that what you're talking about? When somebody would do a move, here comes Cena. Cena's whoa, 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 whoa. That's what you're talking about, right? Yeah. Look, I think he still does that one. Who does that? Oh, I gotta say this. Anybody that follows my shows know that I have said several times over the last couple of years, Kevin Owens is, when someone says, like, who on the current roster in WWE is must-see TV to you? Right now, nobody is must-see TV. But Kevin Owens is one that I'm always entertained by. I am a Kevin Owens fan, long way from a wind's always chewing all the time, chewing all the time, chewing all the time. Remember that? So Kevin Owens, one of my favorites. Tonight on commentary, I don't know how you all felt about it. Wade Barrett wasn't there, so it was Kevin Owens and Vic Joseph. Kevin Owens reminded me of what the hell's his face? Oh my God! Holy cow! I'm drawing a blank. The member of NXT, the lawyer that Oh God! I'm drawing a freaking blank right now. Bail me out, chat room. Oh my God! It's like right on the tip of my tongue. You know what's funny about this? Reading the responses that people don't even know what I'm talking about too. Who does commentary for WWE on the pre-show that was in NXT, that is also a lawyer. Come on. People out there actually don't know? Do we have to block Saito Calba, by the way? David Otunga, thank you, Hulkster. Brother. Thank you, Dorian. Oh, and Hulkster, I read what you said on the Q&A. You don't have to do that, my friend. First of all, if I hit, I don't want to split it with nobody. But no, David Otunga. You remember when David Otunga was first doing commentary on the main roster? There was a couple of pay-per-views that everybody was losing their shit, like energetic about the match and the results. And David Otunga would be like, yeah, and you know, Kevin Owens did that a lot tonight. Kevin Owens tonight, it felt like, you know, the Kevin Owens show segment was fun. But his commentary tonight, there was a lot of times that you hear Vic Joseph, boom, and Kevin Owens is like, yeah, you know, I never wrestled Timothy Thatcher, but, you know, I really, would love to one day. You know, I mean, talk about like polite, like brush off. Some people reported as news, Kevin Owens wants a match. My God, it was so bland at times. To me, it honestly felt like Kevin Owens, I don't know if he wanted, it just, you know what it felt like? This is what it felt like. WWE told some people on the roster, look, Wade Barrett is not going to be here for the NXT before Thanksgiving. Who wants to do the commentary spot with Vic Joseph? And, and Kevin Owens probably volunteered. But, man, there was like a lack of energy. Go back and watch NXT. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch that episode. You're going to tell me there's a lot of points during the night. There was a total imbalance there. Vic Joseph was energetic into the match, and Kevin Owens going through the motions. I'm sorry, but I tell you how I feel. But one more time for Anthony Diaz. Yeah, that's what Taz does. Hey, went smooth just now. So anyway, so next we had Top Flight versus TH2. I don't know, man. Anybody out there really want to see a Young Bucks versus TH2 like pay-per-view match, or is this the next feud they're doing? I have nothing against Angelico and Jack Evans, but man, that just feels like meh. I mean, FTR, you know, they cut the promo tonight with Tully Blanchard. You know, just because you beat Jesse James doesn't make you Jesse James, and they're going for the, I mean, why not continue that feud a little bit further? They only have one match, and they knocked it out of the park. You have feuds sometimes that go 2, 3, 4 pay-per-views. Why the quick brush off? All right, FTR hasn't been on TV for a couple of weeks. You got to do something in the meantime. Well, have them fucking come back next week. You know, I don't know what this is. Okay, so we got to get rid of Sato. Sorry, Sato. Yeah, we're going to have to, yeah. So I think Sato might be history. Sato would be the first person in about 4 months that I had to eliminate from the chat. I don't know why people do that. Only because, I mean, they're not going to upset me. You know, people out there that like to talk shit about me, I take it as a badge of honor. Because if I get under your skin that much, and the best part about it is, there are a few people, and you all see this, 'cause when you subscribe to my channel and you turn the notifications on, the minute that I post a preview, for like even tonight, I posted a preview like 3 o'clock this afternoon, I was going to do the show tonight. So the minute I hit enter and the preview goes on YouTube, everybody that has the notification gets the notification that, okay, tonight, 10:05 p.m., DT, blah, blah, blah. There are a few people that dislike me so much that they are subscribed to the channel, they have notifications on, and the minute I hit enter and it's on the YouTube channel, the preview, not even 5 minutes, there's already 1 or 2 dislikes on there, sometimes 3 or 4. And just think about that. These are people that they're home. We're talking people that are almost Social Security age in some cases, because I already know 3 people that do it. Because they brag to people in DMs, and then I see the DMs, I'm like, oh boy, you people are stupid. You know how to play the game. But the thing is that just imagine them in an unemployed household at 3:30 in the afternoon. They're on their computer instead of looking for work. And an alert pops up, ding, DT's doing Wednesday Night Dynamite. I mean, do they come? Do they giggle? Look, thumbs down. DT's going to be so pissed. Oh my God. I take it as a badge of honor, man. If I get under yours, like I said, I have never listened to a Wade Keller podcast. I've never watched him. I never listened to him. I don't give him a thumbs down. I don't say he sucks. I just choose not to enjoy it or listen to it. Nothing personal, but I don't enjoy it. So if I don't like someone or I have no interest in tuning into this stuff, the last thing I'm going to do is subscribe and then giggle when I give that person, and I just stay away from them. So believe me, when you get people to do that, you know you're doing something right. Seriously, you know, there's some people that absolutely cannot stand it. I try to be as positive as possible. Yes, I still criticize things. We already criticized a ton of stuff tonight, but you know, I try to be uplifting and positive. It's nothing personal. There's no personal insults. So, speaking of FTR, I want to just mention this right now. I was supposed to talk about it last week, and I totally forgot about it. FTR, first time ever PWI did this. Their first top 50 tag team rankings, and this was for the year. This was not currently. And FTR was ranked number 1. A lot of people wanted my thoughts on that. Well, this is my answer to say to everybody out there. PWI obviously is nowhere near what they were 20 years ago. In a lot of cases, it's more fluff pieces than anything else. But I don't care if it's PWI or I don't care if it's some third grader drawing with crayons. You get an award, you get ranked number 1, that is something cool. So FTR being ranked number 1 for PWI, even though it may not be on the level of what PWI was way back when, that's still a cool thing to have. Now, the top 10 list, for anybody that does not know, FTR obviously was ranked number 1. Number 2 was Kenny Omega and Hangman Page. Number 3 was Bayley and Sasha Banks. 4 was the North, Ethan Page and Josh Alexander. 5 was the Street Profits. 6 was Tama Tonga and Tongaloa. 7 was the Lucha Bros. 8 was the New Day. Number 9 was the Kabuki Warriors. And number 10 was Roppongi 3K. Show and Yo. My honest opinion, because the criteria, I know this is going to ruffle some feathers, and I think a lot of people out there will also agree with me. The criteria to being in the top 10 was wins and losses, chemistry, activity, and the it factor. Honestly, I don't want to pull any tag teams off of this list, but there's one tag team, honestly, I'll give you a hint, and I don't mean it an insult as personal. I'll give you a hint. Let's pretend we're looking at a map right now, and this is south, and this is west, and this is east. So if I do this, what am I doing? Where am I pointing? 4th? Are you kidding me? Why aren't the Young Bucks in this top 10? Yes, the Young Bucks have not held gold, but the Young Bucks, as far as it factor, chemistry, activity, look at the ratings that they pop on AEW Dynamite over the last year. I still remember their match with Private Party to open up AEW, that match with the Butcher and the Blade when they did all that stuff. They didn't like cut the time off in June. So how you don't have the Young Bucks on this list, but you have ranked 4th? I have no problem with FTR being ranked number 1. Kenny Omega and Hangman Page, Bayley and Sasha Banks. Yeah, I could see that top 3, but I don't understand why the Young Bucks are not on that list. And, so anyway, let's see. Ken says, DT's live stream did not censor the J word. What is the J word? Oh, Okay, all right. It's a nationality. It's not Chinese. So I never censored the word Japanese or anything like that. I don't know what you're talking about. But then again, for a little while, I mean, Wrestling Soup does moderate with me a little bit. So maybe Mish censored a couple of words because some people were, probably misusing them. I'm only guessing. The only words that I've ever censored here are, really, really disgusting words. And Kev Castle, be honest. Go type Kev Castle, see what happens. And I'm saying that joking around. But type it, see what happens. By the way, for anybody who's always wanted to be part of our Patreon, last night, before anybody tries to go, oh, you see what he said? Last night, myself, Mish, and Kev did almost a 3-hour podcast. We did Q&A. We did this thing called A to Z, where we just pick random letters and people who are live pick topics beginning with that letter, and we all take turns. It was actually a pretty fun joke. So, no, I guess nobody's typed that word. Wow, a little surprised. I never censored Inner Circle Jerk either. So, well, anyway, let's move on. So I have no problem with that list. And, again, I don't know why people were so annoyed that FTR was ranked number 1. I have said a few times this year, I thought FTR was probably the best tag team in AEW. I never in a million years, I admit it, I've never in a million years ever thought FTR would fit that well on AEW's tag team division. So I don't have calls set up yet, Jody, but as soon as we hit 20,000, Mish and I got to set up everything. I have, the Google Hangout thing all done. So as soon as we hit 20, the quicker we get to 20,000, the quicker we'll start taking calls. But like I said, I want to get out of here soon. We're at 57 minutes. So I think we're about more than halfway through the AEW recap already. So let's get back to it. We had Vicky Guerrero cutting a promo behind the scenes with Nyla Rose, just hyping up the Jade Cargill. Cargill. I always say Cargill. Jade Cargill's attack on Brandy last week. And they're bringing up Big Swall. They're bringing up Red Velvet. You see where that's going. We'll probably see like a tag team match. We'll probably have another person added to the stable. And, that's just to keep some names in storyline. I had no problem with it. It was only about a minute or two, and it did what it needed to do. So, totally fine. SCU versus Chris Jericho and Jake Hager. Inner Circle was all around the match, and, the match was fun, but it just felt like, I don't know. It felt like a match just to have a match. Even though after the match is over, you had Frankie Kazarian lay out MJF. Funny segment later in the night, Inner Circle is being interviewed in the back, and MJF is like, who would cheap shot another man? And meanwhile, MJF and Wardlow and the whole Inner Circle have done that their whole careers so far. But it was funny. But, after the match was over, Inner Circle attacks SCU, and you had Scorpio Sky make the save. And, this is obviously going to set up another match. Maybe Inner Circle members are going to take turn to take on SCU. We'll see where it goes. But, this, I don't know. I mean, you go from the Las Vegas stuff last week to this. Yes, we're Thanksgiving, so it's a throwaway. Next week is going to be interesting because next week is Moxley versus Kenny Omega. And, they want to have some big, high-profile matches to close out 2020. But as I said a couple of weeks ago, I think this ends with a bullshit conclusion. I think this is just to eat up weeks to lead to a rematch with an extra stipulation attached to it at the next AEW pay-per-view, which is not until, I believe, February. If anyone in the chat could pull the date for AEW's next pay-per-view, I think it's not until the first week in February, around that time. So, they have to obviously eat up some weeks. So advertising this is a pretty big deal. So, we had the return of the contract signing tonight because last week Moxley was attacked. Now, earlier in the night, Kenny Omega gets interviewed, and he's talking about Moxley, and he's talking about how, he wants to, fight him straight up. And then Moxley had mentioned his father, and I think Kenny Omega said something like that, my father would kick your father's ass or something like that. Look, it's obviously to set up a little bit of heat. Wait, so some people are actually annoyed that I removed Sato? Anybody in the chat? I mean, there's only like 2 people like defending this guy. Did you see what that guy was writing? Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't like to block anybody. But if you're going to come here just to throw like racial shit or, put people down in the chat, or if you could just flood it or try to troll me, no problem. Like I said, the funniest thing is there's about now 10 people that are shadow banned. And they could type, they could put things in the comments, and the only person that sees what they write are themselves. So something tells me that Sato might be someone else using the name Sato, everyone. And I don't think that is short for Sakamura, but it's all good. The hell with him, man. No, Ken, Sato is definitely not JD from New York. JD from New York is good people. He's one of those guys that shows support my way. Obviously, he doesn't want, me to be competition. We're not. We have two totally different styles. We have two totally different audiences. Some of you out there enjoy both shows, but I'm not in competition with JD. JD does a fabulous job here. He does some great shit on Twitch as well. I'm here just making a video version of what I've been doing for 24 years. So, I mean, if some people are, I do know that some podcasts out there are losing a little bit of viewers because of, what we do. I'm not trying to screw anybody over. I'm just enjoying what we're doing. We're having fun, and that's it. If some people, and there have been a few podcasters that have said some really nice things about me to my face and have said some really horrible stuff behind the scenes. It's all good. It's all good. I mean, you pretty much, you may not realize it early on, but eventually you figure out who's fake and who's not. But it's water off a duck's back, everyone. It's all good. So, again, we're probably going to see SCU with 3 other members in the circle. I don't know where it goes from here, but to me, it just feels like it's eating up weeks. So, we had another segment I thought was dopey. Miro and Kip Sabian, they're about to debut their new video game, and Orange Cassidy, shuts it off. And this big brawl outside the building by the production truck because Orange Cassidy turned off a video game. Now, I'll be honest with you. If Orange Cassidy walked in here right now and turned my computer off, I'd probably break a broomstick over his head. I take those glasses. I know I'm really, just going way back too far. Anybody remember, what was it, 1987, where in spring training, where Mookie Wilson didn't like a baseball get shattered. It shattered his sunglasses, and glass all went in his eye. I think Gary Carter ran to his aid, and he's like, oh, God, no. I would do that to Orange Cassidy. I think they stopped making glass lenses because of the risk of shatter. That's why all lenses are plastic. I would swap his glass. I would find some company overseas that make me like Orange Cassidy, like glass sunglasses, put it on, and then throw a softball at his face. So, a little name drop to the Mets, by the way. So, once we get closer to baseball season and things are back to normal a little bit, then we'll do the baseball podcast that we were going to do last year. I am doing it. I have a few people that have been wanting to do it that are not even into wrestling. They're mostly into baseball, and one thing that I have said before, if I do a baseball show, I'm doing a baseball show for baseball fans. I'm not doing a baseball show for wrestling fans who also like baseball. Because trust me, if you try to do that, and you don't prepare for 26 teams or 30 teams, whatever it is, and somebody asks you about something with the Diamondbacks, and you're like, no, did you talk Mets? No, you talk Astros. No, I'm from Florida. You got to talk Marlins. Just Marlins. Let's talk about. You'll get eaten alive and spit out. I don't think people understand how much research and work would be involved, to do something like that. But we'll do it. We'll get it done. We'll see where it goes. If it sucks, then I'll cancel it. But this segment with Miro and Kip Sabian and Orange Cassidy, by the way, go back and watch it. When Orange Cassidy turned the game off and went outside, and Miro went outside to go get him, I don't remember which member of Best Friends, but I kid you not, he hit Miro in the back like this. And Miro was like, it looked so horrible. I thought that segment, just do a video game stipulation. Challenge each other to a video game. Do a fighting game. There's got to be a video game out there that they can actually face each other and the footage could be streamed on TV. They got to get permission for some video game. Just do a video game storyline. Challenge each other to a fucking video game, because this constant every week. Do you realize how long ago it was that Kip Sabian and Miro were playing that video game around ringside? The mysterious video game that had no plug and no outlet and no power. It was just an empty shell. Do you realize how long ago that is? And they're still continuing this? Oh, God. Put me out of my misery with that shit. So, next, we had the contract signing. Tony Schiavone announces Kenny Omega is the cleaner. You had Justin Roberts, again, with the Chicago Bulls type entrance. I think comparing the Wrestling Observer Hall of Fame to the NASCAR Hall of Fame, which was funny. And this was cool. I wish I could do show video here, but I don't want to take a chance of copyright stuff. But you see, when the two girls are dancing with the brooms and, I got a broom over here, but I'm not going to go grab it now. But they're on ringside and and they do the spin. Oh, I got to be careful. I'll start knocking lights all over the place. But as they're doing that, and you see the silhouette of Kenny Omega, now you realize, about the cloth, how really it's just lights in the cloth. But you see the silhouette of Kenny Omega, and it looked really, really cool. And then you see the silhouette of Moxley. And it's Moxley because whenever Moxley creeps up to someone, and he's been doing his whole career, you know what I'm talking about. Think of Will Hobbs, I said earlier. When Moxley goes up to him, he does this. And he attacks Omega, throws him through the curtain, and Omega gets into the ring, and Moxley knocks him unconscious. And, Moxley cuts a promo saying that, winter is coming for you, Kenny. This is not joking on BTE. This is not dancing girls with brooms. And it's generating a little bit of heat. I think they're doing a decent job with this. Anyway, Anna Jay versus Hikaru Shida. And you know what? Let's throw this out there very quickly. Anthony Diaz, fuck, marry, kill. Sato, Katie Vick, gobbledygooker. I'm gonna guess that Sako is Sako is a puppet. Sako, Mr. Sako. I'll say Sato is a girl. Let's pretend that Sato is a bitch. Are you hearing me, bitch? Sato, let's say, was a girl, so I'll say that I would sleep with Sato, I would kill the gobbledygooker, and I would marry Katie Vick, because Katie Vick is dead. She wouldn't even know they married her. Hopefully she had inheritance, so yeah. How do you like that for a question? That's all good, man. I like having fun. Oh, by the way, I fixed the internet issue. This was a screenshot of my connection tonight. Not too bad, right? Almost 500 megabyte download speed, 23 on the upload, which is more than enough for a podcast. Motherfucker. it was a wire. It was a freaking wire. And you know what? I know a lot of you out there aren't into the technical stuff, but trust me when I tell you, right now this may not matter to you. One day it's going to matter, and one day you're going to ultimately say, DT, thank you for mentioning it that time. All right, let me just tell you very quickly. For the last 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, I've been having a little bit of connection issues here. I wanted to play the Aflac thing last week, and when I started playing the video, everything started buffering on YouTube. You might remember about a week or two ago, the show started buffering on Wednesday, started buffering on Friday. Anybody on Patreon, when Mish and I did Breakfast Soup last week and the week before, the last 2 Tuesdays, there were parts where I lost connection. And I thought it was wind. I thought it was bad weather over here. So I finally did a speed test. And the speed test said that I only had a download speed of 20 megabytes. You just saw 500. It only showed a speed of 20. So I realized for the last 2+ weeks doing the shows here, I only had 20 megabytes in speed. The laptop that I use also only had 20 megabytes of speed. So I'm reading all this stuff online about my router, my modem, this and that. I called the Spectrum, and they have me 2 days ago return my modem and my router, and they gave me 2 new ones. I hook it up, and I connect the computer and the other thing again, and it says that the download speed is only 20, but Wi-Fi is 200. So I'm like, okay, my Wi-Fi is doing good, but my router is not doing good. What's going on here? So I'm trying to do elimination, like, okay, what haven't I changed yet? And I said, the wire. So I go on Amazon and I buy a gigabyte, wire, and I ran it this afternoon. I plug it in, sure enough, 500 megabytes. All that crap for the last 3 weeks was a freaking wire. So if you ever have issues, let me explain one thing. If you buy a cable, if you have like a Cat 5, not Cat 5, but 6, 7, Cat 8 cable, or if you get a wire that says it can handle like 2,000 megabytes a second or whatever, if you have a wire, and even if one prong gets corroded or something happens, you could still get 20, 50, 100 megabytes of speed and have a faulty wire. But 9 times out of 10, if you experience a huge drop in speed, my advice to you, check your Wi-Fi. Before you go nuts and think, did I get a virus? Is my driver outdated? If you ever are connected with Ethernet, cable, and you get a huge drop in speed, the first thing you do is check your Wi-Fi speed. If your Wi-Fi speed is normal, it's going to be a cable. Telling you. Gigabit. Sorry, not gigabyte. I always say gigabyte, but gigabit speed. So just a little technical for anybody. That might help you down the line. So we have Anna Jay versus Shida for the women's title. Not a bad match. It doesn't help when Anna Jay says, I only had 7 matches in my career when I fought Shida the last time. Well, you really haven't had too many matches since then, So they tried to make this match meaningful. Anna Jay definitely has a bright career. I don't think there was any doubt in anybody's eyes that Shida was losing tonight. It was a decent match, but it was more of what transpired after. And I tell you, I wish we would have had more. Basically, I told you earlier about the chair and the Singapore cane and stuff. Well, we had a couple of 2 counts from Anna Jay, but in the end, Hikaru Shida hits the running double knee to Anna Jay's face for the win. And after the match is over, Abaddon shows up. She is recovered from her injury, and she is on the rampway, and she grabs Shida's title. So it looks like we're going to see a little bit of a feud with Abaddon and Hikaru Shida. I've been wanting Abaddon on Dynamite on a regular basis for a long time now. Just a character alone is something that keeps you glued to the TV. She may not be the most polished wrestler, but with a gimmick like that, you don't need to be. But the only thing I didn't like is I wanted to see more interaction with Abaddon and Shida. And by the way, what the fuck happened with Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker? Remember, you know what I mean now when I say every 2 or 3 weeks AEW does this? This should have carried over this week. This should have been some type of something. And they just forgot about it. You know, I understand you only have 2 hours, but this is why you don't do. I think what AEW needs to start doing, this is just opinion. I'm not telling them what to do, it's just opinion. I think what AEW needs to do is, they obviously are forward-looking in feuds, in pay-per-views, and matches. But what they really need to do is, if they're going to do a segment with 2 people, especially if it's going to be their first confrontation with each other, that's got to carry over to the following week. Like next week, you cannot let next week go and not have something about Shida and Abaddon and not a replay of last week. You have a first confrontation with someone, especially when there's a big pull apart or there's a brawl, that's got to carry over to the following week because the match is lit. And you don't let it blow out and then relight another match a week or 2 from now. They do that. They do that. They did that with Santana and Ortiz and Best Friends. And their final match was awesome with the parking lot. But there were points where they destroyed Mom's car and nothing the following week. They destroy outfits in the shower, nothing the following week. It's just, there's got to be, if you're going to put that out there and it's a big pull apart or brawl, it's got to carry over to the next week. So, anyway, Matt Hardy with a little promo, calling himself the most influential trailblazer in wrestling. Now that he's overcome his insurmountable odds, we at home can overcome our pedestrian challenges. You know, Matt, maybe a little bit of an attitude change. We'll see where it goes. And finally, main event tonight, Butcher and the Blade versus Rey Fenix and Pac. Eddie Kingston on commentary. You know, typical good match. Nice to see Pac back more on a regular basis, but basically what happened with this match, you had towards the end of the match, Pac was being attacked outside the ring. Rey Fenix was climbing the top rope. The bunny distracts, I guess, Rey Fenix a little bit. You had Pentagon around ringside as well. He gets attacked. But Rey Fenix gets a little bit distracted from the bunny. Eddie Kingston runs down to ringside, knocks him off of the top rope. The Butcher and the Blade hit their finisher, which is like a powerbomb and a net breaker, you know, at the same time. And after the match is over, we get the after-match beatdown. And, you know, look, it's better than nothing. But Lance Archer makes the save. Lance Archer. I don't know where they're going with Lance Archer now, but that was an interesting way to close out AEW Dynamite tonight. I don't know, Ken, if Lance Archer is technically a face, but you see the Butcher and the Blade, and you see Eddie Kingston, and you say to yourself, okay, could it be let's see what happens next week with Pentagon. Is Pentagon not cleared to wrestle? I don't know. But I thought, you know, or maybe the payoff is going to be 3-on-3, but I don't know where Lance Archer fits in all this. I don't know. I mean, it was a really interesting way to end, but it's like, you know, I don't know. It just feels more like they don't know what to do with Lance Archer right now. So let's put him that way. Maybe this ends up leading to Ricky Starks, Brian Cage, and something with Lance Archer, you know, Pentagon and Rey Fenix, and maybe Pac is on his own with Eddie Kingston. Just trying to think. I don't know. But obviously this better follow up next week. Definitely better follow up next week. So NXT tonight, you know, this was a much more simplified show. This was designed to start setting up the road to WarGames. That's what tonight was all about. I feel bad for Jake Atlas, but you can't say we didn't see that coming. We kept talking about the quarter-hour ratings. We kept talking about no matter what they did with him and Santos Escobar, it just was not connecting, clicking, and tonight he got squashed by Cameron Grimes. I felt bad for Jake Atlas tonight because you felt that last week or the week before when we said, okay, enough. You remember when I said there's some people that you could keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and they're just not popping a rating, and soon some point you got to say, all right, look, that's it. We tried. I'm not saying that Jake Atlas's NXT future is limited, but for now, they had him show up in a car, attacking Santos Escobar, attacking a Legado del Fantasma, doing all this stuff, putting with Leon Rush, Adonis, all these other, Leon Ruff, excuse me, and it didn't go anywhere. I'm telling you, NXT missed the boat. They should have had Jake Atlas turn on Drake Maverick when Drake Maverick was fighting for his WWE NXT life in that Cruiserweight tournament. He should have turned on Drake Maverick, especially how beloved and how the world was showing so much sympathy for Drake Maverick. That would have put Jake Atlas in not nuclear heat territory, but it would have gotten him bigger heel heat than if he turned on Drake now. But they didn't do that. So opening match tonight, again, this is just to set up WarGames. Candace LeRae with Indy Hartwell, like I said earlier, Indy Hartwell walking around like, she's on, well, I can't say that. Let's say she was on catnip. Indy Hartwell looked like she was on catnip. Didn't matter what was going to happen, She got knocked on the floor. She got up. Go back. I mean, get angry. It just, I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. Plus, Ember Moon gets another loss. I understand Dakota Kai comes down the ringside. Raquel Gonzalez goes to ringside. We get a little bit of a distraction. LeRae super kicks her. The Wicked stepsister for the win. I understand that this is going to set up WarGames, but man, what they've done or what they haven't done with Ember Moon. What happened to Mama wants gold, baby? Something like that. Mama would like to at least have a win, baby. Soon it's going to be Mama just wants to be on TV, baby. Mama wants an in-ring segment, baby. Mama wants a backstage interview, baby. Mama wants to be seen in the NXT audience, baby. Mama wants to be on Thunderdome, baby. The more I talk, the more I get some type of a southern accent, baby. I mean, my God. Maybe Ember Moon needs to go back on the highway, go 500 miles an hour. Oh, and that's not her fault. It's not her fault. They're sacrificing Ember Moon to set up WarGames. And by the way, when I said earlier, now batting for Indy Hartwell, Toni Storm. We thought it was going to be Candice LeRae, Raquel Gonzalez, Dakota Kai, and Indy Hartwell. We thought it was going to be those four against Team Shotzi Blackheart. Well, now Toni Storm shows up. We think she's going to come to the aid of Ember Moon. She turns on Ember Moon, beats the crap out of her. Later on, we have an interview segment, and it appears to be Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, Candice LeRae, Toni Storm. And Indy Hartwell could be around ringside going, that's what it felt like. It felt like, all right, we don't want Indy Hartwell on this. Maybe she's not ready, so we'll put Toni Storm into place. So, anyway, next we had a little vignette with El Legado del Fantasma. That's Damage Control. Now with the Jake Atlas thing away, now they got to do Damage Control. Now they got to put Santos Escobar in a different direction. We'll see where that goes. We get a little segment with the Undisputed Era coming out. We had Pat McAfee cut a segment from his podcast studio, basically putting down the Undisputed Era, talking about War Games. And what we got teased tonight was that Pete Dunne was going to represent McAfee's group, and it was going to be a ladder match. And a member of Undisputed Era was going to face Pete Dunne tonight in a ladder match, and the winner of the ladder match gets the upper hand at the beginning of War Games. You get the 2-on-1 advantage. So Undisputed Era comes out, and Adam Cole saying, do I look dead to you? And they're hyping up War Games. And I got news for you. Now I'm into this War Games match. I honestly didn't think Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan, I was going to give two shits no matter what match they're in, but I'm actually now starting to feel it because Pete Dunne is an awesome addition to that group. Awesome addition. Pete Dunne is the all-star of that group. So they announced that Kyle O'Reilly is going to face Pete Dunne tonight. And, I like that the Undisputed Era now are baby faces. We called that months ago. And this is going to be a great War Game. You already know what some of those guys could do in War Games. And, I expect that they are preparing Pat McAfee to do some insane bump at War Games. I don't know if you all feel that way, but it kind of feels like it's leading to that. Another confusing moment tonight. Kushida versus Timothy Thatcher. You already know my feelings about Thatcher versus Ciampa. We know it's going to be a really good match, but it makes no sense on what Ciampa's been saying in promos for the last couple of weeks. So you got Kushida versus Thatcher, Ciampa at ringside, just watching the match, and Thatcher loses. I mean, how do you get energized to want to see Ciampa versus Thatcher when Thatcher actually taps out to the armbar? I don't understand that at all. Why not just have Thatcher get disqualified? Thatcher puts a move on, won't break the hold, taunts Ciampa at ringside, gets disqualified. Kushida still wins. I thought that was, Austin, I agree with you. Thatcher is doing great work. Look, I've said it before. When I used to upload little clips from my shows, and I'll start doing that soon because I know a lot of you have been telling me, DT, you got to put this as a separate clip. You got to put this as a separate clip. But people, they don't want to watch a whole 2-hour episode. Put these little clips up. You'll get so much attention. I said, I just haven't had the time. But I've said this before. When I was putting up individual clips, one of the clips that I put up was when WWE signed Thatcher and Cross to Performance Center, to contracts. And I did a little profile on both. And to this day, it is the least watched video on my entire channel. Kid you not. Thatcher, if you follow me on a weekly basis, Thatcher has some of the lowest quarter hours repeatedly. He has been involved in matches where the ratings have gone down significantly. I think that they have done a hell of a better job with Thatcher the last month to 6 weeks. The Thatcher, the wrestling lessons that he's doing, you put August Gray in there. You put some other names. Okay, all right. Now it's working a little bit. So look, they have done a lot better using Thatcher lately, but they have a long way to go. And it doesn't help when the storyline of Ciampa and Thatcher makes no sense. And then tonight, Thatcher loses. It's not even like Ciampa's music hits and Thatcher gets startled and then Kushida puts the armbar and gets the win. It was just, he lost. Now we have the Kevin Owens show. And this, I don't even need to look at notes. What this was, Kevin Owens was in the ring with Leon Ruff. And basically Leon Ruff, he's happy that he's champion, and he's it's like what I always said in the past, suspension of disbelief. You get someone like, Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona, excuse me. Sometimes he would have a match, and he's on the main roster, and he would get a win, and he would fall out, and I know this is WWE's doing, but he goes out of the ring and he falls on his ass. like shocked like I won. If it was me, I'd be like, yeah. I mean, I should win. I'm better than that. You know, obviously, it's not his choice to act that way. But Leon Ruff is basically doing that. Like, you know, I know people don't believe in this. And Kevin Owens is like, you know, be strong. You're the champion. You beat Gargano twice. You know, you got to really, you know, be proud. Be this, be that. Be like, you know. And Leon Ruff is psyching himself up. He's like, yeah. I did. And then he starts bringing up Gargano's name, Leon Ruff, in his promo. And Kevin Owens is like, no. That's where you made a mistake. Because whenever you name drop somebody while you're talking, 9 times out of 10, their music is going to hit and they're going to come down here. And sure enough, Gargano's music hits and he comes down there. And Gargano is, you know, talking smack with Leon Ruff a little bit. And Gargano brings up Damian Priest. Oh, you only won last week because of Damian Priest. And Kevin Owens is like, Johnny, I just told Leon Ruff, you bring up people's names. You know that Damian Priest's music's going to hit now. And Kevin Owens is like, you watch. 3, 2, 1. Isn't that Claymore? 3, 2, 1. No, but Kevin Owens goes 3, 2, 1. Priest's music doesn't hit. So Kevin Owens is like, well, maybe things really have changed around NXT. And Damian Priest's music hits. So Damian Priest comes out. Kevin Owens, it was one point that was funny. Gargano takes a chair and throws it out of the ring like he wants to go at it with Leon Ruff. While he does that, Kevin Owens brings another chair in the ring. And the reason why he brought in the other chair is because he expected Damian Priest to come out. 3 chairs, 3 people. So Damian Priest hits the ring. Kevin Owens offers Damian Priest the chair to sit down. He's like, no, I'm good. So Kevin Owens is just sitting on the other side of the ring watching everything. And they're all talking smack to each other. And Kevin Owens says, you know, it's right. It's times like this that too bad we don't have Teddy Long, because I could see Teddy Long coming right out here and making it a 3-way match for the North American Championship. You know, too bad we don't have like NXT's version of Teddy Long. And then William Regal's music hits. So William Regal is on the rampway. They had the graphic already ready to go. And William Regal says, at WarGames, it's going to be Priest versus Gargano versus Ruff, 3-way for the NXT North American title. But before William Regal walks out, as a tribute to Teddy Long, he goes, playa. It was so fucking funny. I mean, I laughed my ass off. But, you know, like I said, I like William Regal in that role. Absolutely. But sometimes WWE shoddy writing exposes some things. You know, this week it worked perfectly. So now at TakeOver, we have that match. And, you know, as far as the women's TakeOver WarGames match, we got to wait. Because tonight we had a segment also. You know, Rhea Ripley hit the ring, and she was trying to tell everyone, like, no, this, you know, her losing last week to Io Shirai is not a send-off, that she's determined to win the NXT Women's Championship. She gets interrupted by Candace Larae. Candace Larae basically starts bad-mouthing Rhea Ripley, talking about Io Shirai, comparing their losses to Io Shirai, by the way. And then you see the rest of Candice LeRae's team for WarGames and Indy Hartwell. They come out, and Raquel Gonzalez has Io Shirai on her shoulder. Io Shirai is like knocked out, unconscious. And they drop Io Shirai on the rampway. They go in the ring and start beating down Rhea Ripley. They leave her laying. And now it feels like, because nobody last week said Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai as part of Shotzi Blackheart's team. I don't know if they're going to end up being 2 of the 3 teammates of Shotzi, unless maybe they go 5-on-5, which I don't think is going to happen. I think it's got to remain 4-on-4. But, you know, if it ends up being Shotzi, Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai, and someone else, that is pretty strong. That's pretty strong. So that's why we can't jump the gun and assume who the tag teams are going to be. But, there was even another segment later on after that where Candace LeRae is outside about to leave in her car, and she says that whoever agrees to be on Shotzi's team is going to be run over. And then she gets in the car to drive away. Gargano says a couple of words. Gargano gets in the car, and as they're driving away, you see somebody wearing a Scream outfit in the backseat of the car. Remember, it was revealed to be Indy Hartwell. This time, Indy Hartwell sitting on the other chair, the other seat in the car. So now someone else is under the Scream mask. So we'll see. Yeah, no, I agree with you, Benjamin. It's probably going to be Ember Moon, Shotzi Blackheart, and possibly Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. Possibly. Don't know. Possibly. We'll know next week. So anyway, another match that looks like is going to happen at TakeOver is Cameron Grimes versus Dexter Lumis in a strap match. Will you just let them team up already? That's where I'm starting to feel this. I mean, did they sour on Drake Maverick and Killian Dane already? And now they're like, oh, they do Cameron Grimes. Does it feel like they may end up teaming with each other? I don't know if you feel that way, but I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it kind of feels like, Killian Dane and Drake Maverick. No more. That's what it feels like. What happened was Cameron Grimes squashes Jake Atlas. After the match is over, Cameron Grimes is about to leave. Dexter Lumis shows up. He's got the same sack that he had over his head last week in that horrible match that ended up with nothing. A vignette video package shows up on the screen. It's all making fun of Cameron Grimes running away. My lips are a little dry, cotton mouth. You see Cameron Grimes, all these segments of him running away, and you see a little bit of Dexter Lumis's artwork, and Cameron Grimes is getting pissed off. Cameron Grimes starts walking back to the ring as if he's going to do something to Dexter Lumis. Dexter Lumis pulls out of the sack a strap, and he throws it outside of the ring, one of the sides outside of the ring. Cameron Grimes picks it up and throws it back in the ring, but it's got a loop on both sides. So it's almost a lot. Maybe they do it next week instead. I don't know, but it feels like it's going to be a WarGames, a strap match. And the idea of the strap match is Cameron Grimes cannot run away. That makes sense with last week. But, I'm kind of feeling that maybe these two end up tagging with each other down the line. I don't know. There might be a lot of comedy there that they may see now but I don't know. We'll see. Everrise is about to come out for a match, and they get attacked by the Grizzled Young Veterans. And, good for the live fans over there trying to make this seem important, but most people don't really care too much about these two guys. And you had, basically Zach Gibson cutting a promo that him and James Drake are going to eventually become tag champs and this and that. All right, it is what it is. Interesting twist with the Boa Xia Li stuff. I'll tell you the truth. Of everything tonight, except for the main event, I kind of like the Boa Xia Li segment more than anything. That old man that we saw, addressing Boa not too long ago on NXT. Well, tonight they showed a package where Boa and Xia Li are in the backseat of a car, and they're driven to a warehouse. And they open the gate of the warehouse, and you see a person in like a whole, dark outfit with a hood over the head. And Xia Li and Boa are begging for forgiveness. Xia Li is saying, please, we're sorry, we'll give us another chance, blah, 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 blah. And you realize it's a woman because they do a close-up and you see the fingernails. It was a female. And, they put the symbol on the hand. I have tried to look up what that symbol is. Unfortunately, it's not like you could do a Google search on it because what do I type? You know what I mean? Like if you write like 5 letters I could go on Google, type in those 5 letters and see if it means anything. But how do you Google search a symbol? Like, I can't draw the symbol on Google, so I have no idea what the symbol means. But, you know, they're all freaked out, and all we know is that, you know, they did a close-up of this person's eyes, and the person looks Chinese. And it was kind of funny because with the hair going down in front of her eyes, I was like, The Undertaker. It obviously wasn't The Undertaker, but if you looked at it, you know, with the outfit covering the face. But I tell you, a lot of people that I talk to online like the segment. They're very curious to see where this goes. The big question is, who is this person going to be? And I'm looking up and down the roster, and I'm looking at, you know, wrestlers that WWE has brought in from overseas, and even people they have signed. It's the triad symbol. Okay, maybe it's the triad symbol. So what is she, like a triad mafia type or something? But I want to figure out who that is. I don't know who it is. It's got to be someone that we give a shit about. So does anybody out there have any ponderings who you think it might be? I don't know who it's going to be. But I'm liking it. I'm liking it. Xia Li, look, you and I had this discussion about 6 weeks ago that Xia Li seemed to be the odd person out on all these storylines. And remember, she was supposed to have that, I think, like that kickboxing match or whatever, or an MMA match, something, and WWE pulled her at the last minute. And, you know, a lot of people, including me, thought it was a little unfair because they really weren't doing anything when they were on TV. Mr. Regal, I need this match. Please give me this match. And you saw it really go nowhere. Now they actually got this as a pretty strong storyline. No, I don't think it's Mia Yim. I'm gonna look around. I think it's probably like the Chinese mafia. What is Shang Tsung? Is that what it's called, Benjamin? Shang Tsung? So I'm not really familiar with their Chinese version of the mafia, but I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna look into it. No, I don't think it was. Look. We could probably, by process of elimination, just think of any Chinese wrestler. It might be someone that we never saw before in the roster. Who knows? Maybe it's someone that doesn't even wrestle, which really wouldn't make sense. But whoever it is has a lot of power, obviously. I mean, Xia Li, it almost looked like she was trying out for a horror film. Tell me Xia Li, with her facials and reactions, that she probably would be a good victim in like a Jason movie. You could see her in the cabin in the corner, like, I could see it. Not Tessa Blanchard. I was going to screenshot the eyes and put them on here, but I don't know. But I don't think Kairi Sane is going to be reintroduced on WWE television as a member of the Chinese mafia. So, but hey, you know what? We're all talking about it, and that's what WWE wants. So finally for tonight, we got the main event. Pete Dunne versus Kyle O'Reilly ladder match. Winner gets the team's advantage for WarGames, and you know, Pete Dunne gets the win. This was very physical. Now, it was cool. They had 3 members of the Undisputed Era on like a barricade, elevated in the air, and it looked like the best way I could describe it is, you remember the old WrestleMania? Remember WrestleMania 3 when they had the wrestlers coming out on the cart? Remember Andre and Bobby Heenan when you had the ropes and everything? It kind of reminded me of that, but it was much higher, and it wasn't rolling, obviously. But they were suspended in the air, and it looked like that they couldn't just like climb down and try to get involved in the match. On the opposite side, you had Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, and they're just spectators watching this match. Very, very physical. You know, Dunne working on, you know, the knee, the leg, the arm of Kyle O'Reilly back and forth. There was one point in the match that was awesome. The ladder was in the ring. Top was a briefcase for NXT. It said NXT WarGames on it, NXT TakeOver WarGames. So the briefcase is up in the air. And there was one point where the ladder was in the middle of the ring, and they're like Kyle O'Reilly's on one side of the ladder and Pete Dunne's on the other. And they're grabbing each other's arms and they're just smacking, just pulling and smacking each other in the ladder. Very, very physical. There was a couple of points where Pete Dunne got knocked off the ladder. Kyle O'Reilly got knocked off the ladder. There was one point where Pete Dunne, it looked like he was going to throw Kyle O'Reilly over the barricade, but he landed kind of like on his leg. They really told an excellent story. I'll be honest with you, man. You know, I don't nail the predictions perfectly every week. Many weeks I get within 10, 20,000 in the numbers. But, you know, usually when NXT wins a rating, you know, we usually all have that feeling and call it NXT TakeOver, you know, or Halloween Havoc was the last one that we all felt they were going to win. I don't think NXT won this week, but I will tell you this. I honestly think that Pete Dunne and Kyle O'Reilly, they should be very close ratings-wise up against Butcher, Blade versus Pac and Ray Fenix, because they really busted their ass. And I'm going to be really curious to see the quarter-hour ratings for this show. I hope that they may not beat AEW in that quarter hour, but it's got to be really close. I would be really disappointed if NXT was worse than 50,000 viewers for that main event against AEW. But it was a great match. If you have not watched NXT yet, watch at least that main event match, because it was really, really good. And I am a big fan of Pete Dunne. To me, he's the all-star of that team. And, you know, just an absolute tough son of a bitch. I mean, yeah, we got shortchanged of Pete Dunne and Matt Riddle. That was a tag team that I was so looking forward to all of the vignettes and the antics and the stuff they were going to do later on. But then COVID hit. And Pete Dunne could not compete. And Matt Riddle was on his own. And, you know, they couldn't be tag champs. And the rest is history. Riddle's now on the main roster. Pete Dunne is finally back. That is a tag team that we missed out on a lot of fun. But, man, Pete Dunne, I'm telling you, I'm very curious to see what Pete Dunne does a year from now. No, Ken, the Xia Li Boa segments are nothing like the Dungeon of Doom. Nothing like, because you had nobody in the Dungeon of Doom that were like scared and almost like peeing their pants like a bad horror film. You know, Kevin Sullivan as the Taskmaster was awesome. I like the Dungeon of Doom. I never had any issues with the Dungeon of Doom, but it's nothing like that. This is like dark, like you said, Chinese mafia stuff. Just because a vignette segment happens, it doesn't always mean we could compare it to something, but this is fun. It's fun. It's giving Xia Li a little storyline, but the problem is it's got to lead to matches. And they better be sure that Xia Li could actually impress in the ring and win. Because you do these segments and it leads to her having matches, and the matches are lackluster. This storyline is going nowhere. So I enjoyed it. I thought both shows were decent tonight. Maybe not on the level of, you know, previous weeks, especially because we have the Thanksgiving holiday and AEW was already taped. So as far as ratings this week, I personally think AEW drops a little bit. I would say AEW this week probably goes back into the 7s, because although they had, you know, the same names as they normally do, some of the participants in some of these matches, I think, were a little bit less to be desired. You know, like Hangman Page, you know, John Silver, like I said, has a cult following, but a big ratings grab, no. Shida, you know, decent ratings, but against Anna Jay, I don't know where that grabs, you know. There was a couple other things that, you know, to top flight. Nice to see them for a second week in a row. You know, them losing right now, no harm done because they're getting enough time to impress in the ring. But still, you know, last week against the Young Bucks, they did over 900,000 viewers. You know, yes, some people may have carried over and was watching TNT before wrestling started and just forgot to change the channel. That does happen. It does happen. So I think AEW drops down into the 7s this week. I would say 767. I say AEW this week does 767. NXT, I just can't see how it improves. Yes, the ladder match was a very cool, great match, good stipulation. They should have pushed it all week long. I don't know why they chose to do it last minute. But I think NXT stays in the sixes. I say NXT does 628. So I'm going with that. And with that said, everyone, we are close to the midnight hour. I am out of here. Soon as I'm done here, I got to still put everything up online. Then I got to prepare. Got to get up at 6 this morning and pack. And I am on the road about 7:30, 8 a.m. So Impact Wrestling I will talk about on Monday with Mish. But I hope everyone enjoys their Thanksgiving holiday. All the best. Stay safe. Remember what I said at the beginning of the show. You know, you want to spend it with your family. You know, don't ever take your family for granted. There's no guarantee that the people who we love and care for are gonna. We don't guarantee next year's Thanksgiving. If you are in good health, your family's in good health, and everybody has been responsible, and everybody, you know, has been, you know, careful, you know, there's no reason why you can't get together for a nice dinner and, you know, continue being careful and spend some quality time. You know, it just, the goal of some people, because it's a 40th birthday. Oh, it's a wedding anniversary. Oh, it's The Undertaker. Oh, it's a meeting in a restaurant with health department officials. Fuck you. Fuck you. That's how I look at it, man. Be careful, everyone. All the best. Much love as always. I will catch you all again. Sunday's Q&A will be recorded. I'm not doing it live. I want to definitely bang it out and put it online for everyone. So expect that Sunday night. And Monday I'll be back with Mish for Breakfast Soup Raw. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone. All the best. Much love. And before you go, if you enjoyed the show, I'd appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up. Give me a little bit more exposure on YouTube. For the haters, hey, thank you for tuning in as always. Much love to you as well. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do subscribe. Because as soon as we get to 20,000, we start banging out calls, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So Anthony Diaz, I have no idea what happened to Mish's poop worms. I think it was a false alarm. I actually did speak to him about it. I think it was a false alarm. So, but you know what? I promise you, Anthony, that'll be the first thing I ask him live on this show Monday. I will not forget, because I have lists of all super chats that carry over, and the first thing I bring up, in fact, I will show yours on Monday, and we'll ask him. I'm 99% sure it was a false alarm with him. So he would have told me. If the people had to say him, what is he talking about with poop worms? Tune in Monday. That'll be an interesting way to kick off Breakfast Soup Raw. So good night, everyone. Be well. Much love as always, and thank you for the support. Have a good Thanksgiving, and take care. Ciao.